If you're a Microsoft employee with RSUs, this video could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're going to walk through 4 different strategies for handling RSUs over a 10-year period of time using real market and tax data and see how each one would have performed. But first, a quick note on who we are. At TechView Wealth Advisors, we work exclusively with high-performing tech professionals like yourself. My partner and I are former Wall Street institutional equity analysts. We've seen what happens when brilliant people mismanage their compensation, and we're here to make sure that doesn't happen to you. Okay, so here are the 4 plans. Plan 1, do nothing. Plan 2, optimize for taxes only. Plan 3, optimize for taxes and cut concentration risk through conservative diversification. Plan 4, optimize for taxes, cut concentration risk while investing in higher yielding assets. Look, I get it. RSU strategy isn't exactly beach reading. That said, by the end of this video, you'll have a strategy that could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's not a rounding error. That's actually many beach vacations. For our analysis, meet hypothetical Microsoft employee. Hired in 2015 just as Microsoft's cloud strategy was gaining full steam. The initial on-hire RSU package of $250,000 vested over 4 years, followed by a promotion 5 years later with $400,000 of RSUs vesting over 5 years, and then equity refreshers of $100,000 each in 2023 and 2024, both once again vesting over 5 years. Total $850,000 of RSUs during one of the most remarkable corporate transformations we've ever seen. So how would she have done with the 4 different strategies? Let's find out. Option 1, do nothing. No advisor, no strategy, just watch the stock climb. Sounds good. But all of her wealth is riding on one company. One piece of bad legislation, antitrust suit, AI competitor breakthrough, and suddenly she goes from planning an early retirement to unemployed and financially drained. Then there's a tax bill that she's been ignoring. By 2025, she's sitting on $2 million in capital gains, but owes the IRS and state $668,000. Net of taxes and adding back the RSU values at vesting, she's worth $2.3 million. That's pretty good for doing nothing. Let's see how the other strategies would have worked out. Plan number 2, tax optimization. This is where it gets interesting. In this scenario, the employee sells her shares as they vest. At TechView Wealth Advisors, we strongly urge our clients to sell their shares as they vest, since there's no tax implications, as there's no capital gain. This frees up money for living expenses, which frees up the salary for something more interesting, tax-sheltered accounts. The employee maxes out a mega backdoor Roth in her 401k, and she and her husband each fund backdoor Roths. At TechView Wealth Advisors, we also recommend our clients fund Roth accounts for their children that are doing real work. Her 2 children are each making $250 a month, working for the family business. That's $3,000 a year. So she funds these Roth accounts as well. And also she maxes out her HSA. In plan number 1, the employee assumed that she was maxing out her 401k by funding up to the elective deferral to get the full company match, when in reality, she was nowhere near it. Now she's funding beyond that point with after-tax dollars in Roths both in and outside of her 401k. The result? Investment gains in these accounts can be shielded from taxes forever. Over 10 years, she manages to protect anywhere from 40% to virtually all of her RSU compensation every single year. How much better off was the employee by using this tax optimization strategy? Well, to answer this question, we're going to assume that she invests in nothing but Microsoft stock. Now, of course, I would never recommend to a client to maintain such a heavy concentrated position in a single stock. But this will allow us to analyze just how much value is created via tax optimization. Plan 2 generated the same $2 million in capital gains, but only $223,000 in capital gains taxes, saving her over $445,000 in taxes versus Plan 1. That's the power of tax efficiency generated purely through smarter account allocation. Plan number 3, tax optimization with diversification. This time the employee decides she wants to do more than just optimize for taxes. She also wants to reduce her single stock concentration risk. So she takes Warren Buffett's advice for the average investor and invests in a broad market ETF. Once again, when her shares vest, she sells them and uses the money to fund living expenses, freeing up her salary to maximize her retirement accounts. And again, any extra money goes into a taxable account. But this time, all of her investments are in the S&P Spiders ETF. So how would the employee have done with strategy number 3? Well, just like strategy 2, she definitely lowered her tax burden. But as you probably guessed, the S&P underperformed Microsoft over that 10-year period of time, leaving the employee with just $1.8 million in net worth. At TechView Wealth Advisors, we like to invest in stealth monopolies, about 10 companies that dominate globally, and in the past, they have often outperformed the broader market. Plan 4, tax optimization plus stealth monopolies. What if the employee, instead of investing in the broad market, invested in an equally weighted portfolio of the Magnificent Seven, dominant cash-generating companies that lead their industries? Once again, she lowered her taxes and eliminated concentration risk, but this time she invested in companies with competitive advantages so high the odds of success are skewed in their favor. Her wealth net of taxes after 10 years, $5.6 million. More than 3 times the index fund strategy and twice as good as the do-nothing strategy. The scoreboard. Here's the bottom line. Plan 1, the do-nothing strategy, yielded $2.3 million net of taxes. High risk, high luck dependency. Plan 2, tax optimization. The same $2 million in capital gains, but only $223,000 in taxes, saving $445,000 versus Plan 1. Smart on taxes, still very risky. Plan 3, tax optimization plus index funds, yielding $1.8 million in net worth, lower risk, but lower returns. And finally, Plan 4, tax optimization plus stealth monopolies, yielding an impressive $5.6 million in net worth, the clear winner. So you're convinced of the right RSU strategy, but perhaps you're sitting on a pile of Microsoft stock with massive embedded gains. Don't worry, we help people just like you unwind big positions over time, being cognizant of tax timing, geopolitical risks, as well as stock-specific fundamentals and technicals. Let's talk. Found this video useful? Hit like and help other Microsoft employees make the most of their RSUs. And finally, as usual, the disclaimer slide, my parting gift. Thank you for watching.